Hey guys, it's Blackjack with 396 Guitars. We have a Kiesel 6-string guitar on the bench today. Customer has a couple of concerns. Let's get to work. Remember, if you dig what I'm doing, like and subscribe. It's a pretty small guitar, so I'm going to zoom in a little bit. Yeah, pretty neat. Kiesel. Kiesel. I'm assuming it's Kiesel. I've been saying Kiesel, but a little bit of research says it's pronounced Kiesel. It's missing the high E string. Said when he got it, string tips were hanging out the headless headstock, or whatever, the end of it. It's got a traditional truss rod adjustment in there, and then basically the ball end goes in here, and you cut to length and stop it there, and it tensions, so there shouldn't be any strings sticking out there. Couple of problems. He's got a loose pot, loose output jack, and preliminary inspection tells me that the spring tension is too great in the back. These are the only tuners on it. And I believe the bridge is pulled this way, which means there's too much spring tension in the back pulling on it. It should be up more in a level condition because you can't even get your fingers under the tuners. The only way you can do it is to roll the top like that. And as you're doing that, you're actually pulling down on it. You should be able to very easily just reach under it and get each one, and like this. Yeah, so the first thing we're going to do is figure out what's going on with this pot. Let's get the, oh yeah, something is, I think the whole thing is moving in there. That's not good. Kiesel. Kiesel. What size is that? Just going to fix these few little mechanicals first. Oh, for the love of Pete, get out of there. And then we're going to go to getting this guitar to play right. We're going to restring it and do a setup on it. And restringing it is pretty basic and straightforward. Once we get all the strings off and release the tension, we have to address some boogery going on back here. Yeah. Intonation is real simple. It's right there just like it would be on a Fender. And it's, it's a whammy. So, loose pot. These are not cheap instruments, and I must say they are pretty much boutique-y, very much boutique-y, and I would say expanded or expounded on Leo Fender's design, because it's just a traditional spring claw, springs, and floating bridge. I don't know why anybody would find it necessary to expound on a perfect design, but I digress. I'm going to assume that that is 10. Oh yeah, the whole pot is friggin' turned around. Alright, what's going on here? It's turned around and is actually making contact with the output jack. I'm surprised we don't have wires pulled off. It's got a regular, what appears to be a 5-way switch. Is it a 5-way? 1, 2, 3, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it must do some coil splitting there. Yeah, that pot was spun all the way around. I'm hoping we don't have any broken wires. Does not appear as though we do. Let's just tighten that and be done with it. Of course it's not a 10. Why would it be a 10? 12? God damn it. 11. You gotta be friggin' kidding me. Why? For what purpose What purposes would it be to put an 11 nut? And they're not the only ones, well, to be different, I guess. Why use a 10? The whole world uses a 10 millimeter. That wouldn't make any sense at all. What's going on here? You know what I'm going to do with that? I'm not even going to take it out. I'm going to fix it this way. Put my little output jack grabber tool doohickey. And let's try to figure out what size nut they put on there. Probably some stupid ass size. It's not a 13 millimeter. Sure enough, it's 12. Love a Pete. Got that one right on the first guess. It was loose. That's all it was. Thank God somebody didn't try to turn that, or they would have spun that around too. Thank Buddha. But I digress. So while we're here, we're going to back out these. I'm going to just guess and do. I'm going to back it out probably a half an inch, and then know that I'm going to be far enough back. And then we're going to try to tighten up the strings that we have on it and see where that gets us in level. You follow? Already it came up a lot, and now you're able to do the tuners like you're supposed to. Before they were jammed down to the point where these are knurled so that you can grab a hold of them and grip them with your fingertips. They actually dug in and made marks in the wood. Yeah, somebody did not set this up correctly, or didn't know what the hell they were doing. Probably a little bit of both, or maybe it's. I see that it's got Seymour Duncan pickups in it, so somebody has been in it doing work on it at some point or another, but did not know how to do the setup. Sorry to say. Gotta call it like I see it, folks. Let's just, we got 5 strings on there. I'm gonna tune it up, those 5 strings to pitch, and see where we're at. See, I'm already reaching for the headstock. I knew that was coming. Gone too far with the loose. I think we went way too far with the springs, screws in the back. So now it's gonna pull up too much. That's okay. That's why it's adjustable. Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure we're going to be too high now. All right, might as well just go ahead. Before I take it all apart, I'm gonna do a half-assed setup. I'm gonna get this close. Yeah, try to get it close. Before we go nuts. So stand by while I get this tuned up. See, I like that. That's pretty level. What I'm trying to do is get the top part of the bridge to be level with this body right here. It's really, really close. That's where it should be so that you can tune it properly. Okay, well. Not at all stable right now. Not crazy about this system because every time you grab a hold of it to tune, listen, no matter how careful you are, it moves the trem. It moves the bridge. So I got it close and it looks pretty level. And that's really all I wanted. I'm curious that in the back here, where am I? Right here. Some screws are sticking out. There are screws that are actually inside these tuners. Some of them are protruding. Some of them are really close to the edge. Some of them are recessed down in there. So I have a feeling what that is like on a Floyd Rose, you know, you have the fine tuners back here. When you lock the nut, you use the fine tuners. Well, you have to, when you're doing a setup, you have to set them in the middle of the sweep. So bury them all the way down and then bring them up so that they're all in the middle. So you can go sharp or flat depending on where you need to tune it. And I have a feeling that's what that adjustment screw is right there, to get that in there before we go to restringing it. So if my memory serves me correctly. Now, because, ooh, it's got a really narrow neck, a narrow profile. Not much there to deal with. Small guitar, very light. If I was a guitar player, I think I'd break this thing in half. Too straight, way too straight, extremely too straight. So we know we're going to have to open that up. Now we're putting new strings on it. I don't know what's on there now, but there's no sense in adjusting the truss rod now before we do anything. There's 10s on there now. So for sure the truss rod's going to need to be adjusted, but I'm not going to do that now. We're going to de-string it and move on. We're going to move on with our process here. Stand by while I'll show you how one goes. You loosen it all the way back, get it all the way slack, and then you pop that open, and the string comes out. Looks to be, can't tell. Jesus, are they standard size? They must be. How can that be? Yeah, must be a standard size. All right. Not 16th, I'm going to say 5/64. What do you say? Now, of course not. About, yeah, let's see. Loosen that up. String comes out. That pushes all the way forward, and you should be able to finagle your string out of there. This is the part that I hate about these. Yeah, getting the string out of there. Yeah, it's got to go in, and the ball has to be this way, so the hole goes in this direction. You have to fish it through there and then get it to sit down in there and then pull it forward and keep tension on it while you're boogering with the other end. Did not need to be engineered like that. Sorry, that's a fail. Anyway, I'm going to pause while I get the rest of the strings off of it and then we'll proceed. Stand by. So, quite simply, this was all out of adjustment. It was not adjusted properly by whomever worked on it before, and I'm going to tell you exactly what I did. Remember I showed you there was a couple of Phillips screw heads that were protruding. One was protruding. There were 2 or 3 others that were right close to the very end and almost protruding. What you have to do is dry, when you get all the strings off, you turn these all the way in until the inside string ball catch is all the way forward, and then you get them all lined up in the same orientation so that you have that adjustment. And when you do that, that screw head that was protruding ends up going all the way in. So you put this, you push this forward, you get the string, and I'm going to show you how in a second. Then you never ever are going to have strings out here because you have about 3/4 of an inch of adjustment in tuning. So you put the string through, you snip it off even, pull it back so that it's nice and flush or just inside of the headstock, and then tighten down the set screw. Now that is how we're going to do it right now. So I already did the E and the A, as you can see. We're going to do the D now. So the D is this one. We push it all the way forward. We stick it through the saddle, and it kind of finds its own home pretty easily. And then you have to kind of keep tension on it and pull it all the way out and snip it off just past the headstock. Yep, just past the headstock, as if it were sticking out. Right? Then stick it through underneath the set screw, and it should be right there where the screw can grab it and hold it, and it will not protrude. Just like that. Now we're ready to start tensioning it. And it's up to tension. I mean, I don't know whether it's tuned or not. Of course it's not. But there, nothing will stick out up here, right? Actually, that one is just a bit. Screwed the pooch on that one. Human. But that's an easy fix. All you do is open it. Pull it back ever so slightly, and then tighten it down again. Just make sure it's getting caught. You don't want them sticking out. That's all. And then go to tensioning it. Right, I'm going to do the other 3, and then when you look in there, the screws are, well, the screw heads that are in there that actually has the string ball catch is, I don't know, it's about halfway, and that's where it should be, because once you get it up to tension, all you're doing is fine tuning now, and for the rest of the life of these strings. But you definitely don't want those screw heads protruding, because what's happening is they're coming to the end of their thread, and they're going to just pop off. Yeah. Yep. Somebody was boogering with it and didn't take the time to try to look at it for what it is and do it the correct way. So stand by. I'm going to put the other 3 strings on it, and then we're going to do the setup. And the setup should be pretty straightforward and basic. Famous last words. Okay, we're back. Beautiful. Dead on. Still stretching. But very stable. I have to say it's well built. It's over-engineered in my book, but you know, they expounded on, like I said, Leo Fender's design. It's basically, that's what it is. But a little bit different take on it. Not sure about this. I've played Steinberger guitars, and it just doesn't do it for me. Just doesn't do it for me. Although one of my favorite guitar players in the world comes from my part of the world, Buck Dharma. Donald Buckdharma Roser from Blue Oyster Cult plays a Steinberger, and he calls it the cheeseburger because he's got big divots cut out of the body to make it lighter. Even lighter, as if it needed to be lighter, but the guy's a midget anyway. I say that with all affection. I'm going to adjust those in a few minutes because we don't know where the string height's going to be. I know we have to do a truss rod adjustment. Let's double check that. Because it was tight when we started, and I'm sure it didn't magically fix itself. Yeah, it's tight. I'm going to loosen it slightly. Okay, well, everything else on this thing was met standard, so I'm going to assume that this is standard. I'm going to guess it would be 3/16. No. It looks smaller than that. I'm going to be pissed if this turns out to be metric up here. There we go. So it's too straight. We need to put a little bit of relief in it, so to the left. Got quite a bit of tension on it. I'm going to give it a quarter of a turn. It feels as though I'm forcing it, so it must have a two-way truss rod in it. I just want to get a little relief in it because it's all important. It always is. That is so much better. Now it's just kissing 12 thousandths at the 7th fret. I'm going to leave it there. Again, somebody, whoever worked on it before, if it was ever worked on, maybe it never was. Maybe it came out of the, I don't know, the manufacturer like that. Who knows? But I find that hard to believe. The bridge was jammed all the way down to the point where it actually put some chafing on the wood from the knurled tuner heads. Yeah. And one little screw head trying to protrude there. Thought I got them all even, but that one little screw head is protruding. I'll fix that off camera. It must have needed more to go that way. String height. Let's tune it back up after that adjustment. As if it needed to be tuned. Not. Pretty stable instrument, I have to say, because it came right up after restringing it and getting the spring tension set correctly. It's trying to go right back to pitch. And after putting relief in it, I think we're going to try to lower it. It's at 5/64, so that one's 4, 4, 4, 4, 4. I think we're going to lower the low E. It's probably too high. My guitar sense tells me that I think we can get away with a little bit lower action on this guitar, and if not, then we know we can come up slightly. Yeah, we're going to set them all at 4 now that we have the correct relief. And yeah, they're all over the place. They're not level, so I'm going to have to adjust them all. God damn it. Oh yeah, they're like this. Jesus Christ. Yeah, I don't like that. I'm going to get them all level and then adjust them. Jeez. Some people's kids get messing around with guitars. God, that one's way off. Alright, so now I know they're all going to be wrong. We lowered and leveled the saddles. Some of them have been raised up, so let me do that really quickly. Now, you know my mantra. These should be level with the deck, just like the bridge. There's none of that nonsense of trying to rotate them. Yes, it's got a pretty pronounced very flat type neck. That's why I think it can bear a lower string action, as if it were a Les Paul, what have you. But there's, you know, only so much that it will bear. Bring her up to pitch, and then we'll start fine-tuning the string height action, as it were. Yeah, some of them got messed around with, so I'll be right back. Stand by. All right, this one is done. It comes right back to pitch for strings that haven't stretched all the way. That's pretty darn good. Oh, there's one. And that'll take a couple of days. I love it. I set the intonation. Only one of them really needed to be adjusted. The A of all things. And the pickup height, we had to go up, down quite a bit, because they were just really almost banging off of the the string. That's not ever good. That'll never sound right. So we got that adjusted. Intonation, neck relief. The neck is already in excellent condition. The frets are in excellent condition. We set it up at 464. Customer's going to have to play it for a while. He's on his way to pick it up now. And I like it. It's coming right back to pitch, so we're golden. Another job well done. The Kiesel, or Kiesel, or Diggle. I don't know. Blackjack with 396 guitars. We'll talk soon. If you dig what I'm doing, like and subscribe, and by all means, share.